this is Dr. Vance Hardisty coming to you from Bangalore, India. And you can see one of the more impressive government buildings behind me. We were up in Punjab, and about 150 pastors had gathered in order to, we'd taking them through some teaching. And there was a sense of a bit of division. There were pastors from large churches and small churches, very poor pastors, very wealthy pastors. I don't know if you call them wealthy, but certainly pastors with significant means. And as we were going through, I realized that if the pastors of this area, this region, were going to be able to work effectively together to be able to reach the people with the message of Jesus Christ, something had to change. And so I taught on John chapter 13. I addressed that in one of my other videos here from India, but I taught on John chapter 13. And then at the end of it, I had men lay out a number of bowls in the front of the congregation. And then what we did is I walked down into the audience, and I found a young pastor there and invited him to come with me. And I took him up and I said, you know, in order to demonstrate this whole concept of others first and the whole concept of humility and living out that humility, I would like to show you what that looks like. And so I then took the next several minutes to wash this man's feet there in front of the group, and then invited each one of them to take the person that was sitting next to them, both men and women, and obviously the men with the men and the women with the women, and invited them to take the person next to them and wash that person's feet. And it was revolutionary. It was stunning how the group responded to the sense of taking themselves out of the equation and placing somebody else as first and most important. And the wave of humility, the wave of the Spirit that entered that room was nothing short of miraculous. How do we live that out on a day-to-day basis? I think it's a conscious move that we made, a conscious decision that we make that says, yeah, I'm not what it's all about. He is what it's all about. Others are what it's all about. I am not. And living in that consciously day to day so that we believe that others are more important than we are is a very difficult thing, isn't it? We all like to be first. We all like to be most important. We all like to stand up front. And frankly, it's one of the things that we as pastors battle with. But it's one of those things that as pastors, we need to make sure that we get up in the morning each day and say, Lord, it's not about me, it's about you. It's not about me, it is about the people to whom I'm ministering to. It's not about me, it is about my team. It's not about our group of pastors, it's about all pastors that are serving you. Father, how can I be your servant? How can I be your hands and your feet to those people? You often hear me use that phrase, how can I be your hands and your feet? Frankly, it's all hinges on that verse that comes out of Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. In fact, it's printed. You can't read it, but it's printed on my ring. And it goes around the outside of that ring, and it says, I have been crucified with Christ. Yeah, I'm dead. You're dead, technically, if you're a follower of Christ. You don't exist. You exist only as a servant of Christ to do what it is that He has called you to do. But the verse says, I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I don't live, but wow, I'm just messing up the verses. My attention is being distracted. I've been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life that I now live, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave Himself for me. If that is our motto, if we as leaders can live with that as our expectation for how we are to be to the people around us, we will truly be the impactful leaders that Christ has called us to be. Have a great day.